Hey guys, how's it going? It's M.K.S here, back with another video. Hope everyone's well wherever you are. I was just reading something about the symptoms for COVID, and I thought I matched quite a few of those descriptions just as I expected. But some of them are things I'd often suffer with anyway, like tiredness, fatigue, or whatever, same sort of thing. Fatigue or / tiredness, because I sometimes wonder if that's because of my anxiety or depression. So it's hard to know sometimes. And like I cough anyway because I have a hoarding problem and dust allergies and things like that. So I do have some of those problems anyway. But I think I fit quite a few, or I fitted quite a few of those, and still probably do to an extent. But I think I'm getting better. Although something that I read did worry me a bit more, which was that it said it lasted for, I think it was 10 to 14 days. And I got it on Tuesday, so that would take me beyond Christmas. I think that would be like, not very good at maths, but 6, 7. It'd be like Wednesday or Thursday, maybe Friday or something like that, maybe even beyond then, up to near New Year's or something like that. But so I hope. I mean, I do feel like I'm pretty much recovered. It's just like if my family's visiting or we're going to meet up or stuff like that, I worry about that a bit. But could be better, could be worse, I suppose. But today's topic is about philanthropy or charity or whatever, fundraising, whatever you want to call it, sympathy, empathy, and that, which some might say is what Christmas is supposed to be about, supposedly. Although, again, as I often mention it, some say it's pagan. But yeah, I think it would be good to use it to do good. And because the number 23 reminds me of like philanthropy, sympathy, empathy, compassion, charity, charitability, and that kind of thing, I thought I'd talk about some of the things I wish to support on Facebook. I called them causes, and on YouTube I said charities, and I put them in speech marks because some of the things probably aren't quite charities and or causes, or people might not interpret them as such. But anyway, here are some of the. I had a few different ideas, and I decided to talk about my usual 40-point list of causes and or charities, or whatever you want to call them, that I wish to support. And I suppose one or maybe two of them are quite selfish, but the rest, I think only probably one of them is quite selfish, which you might say is not really a charity or a cause. I thought I included that in that anyway. But most of them, I think, are about helping. Most of them are, I would say, about helping others. I would say, hopefully. But anyway, I know I waffled on enough for the intro. So here goes. So number one, Italian football. I'd love to fundraise and find ways to find investment and sponsorship and as much money as possible for Italian football. Number 2, Celtic FC, same sort of thing. Number 3, libertarianism. I would love to promote libertarianism. I mean, you could say libertarianism, for those who know what it is, favors the rich more, because if you have more freedom and you don't have to pay as much tax, or you don't have many restrictions on your rules, I suppose the more money you have, the more you will be able to capitalize on such freedom. I'd love to know what people think about whether you think libertarianism is just for the rich or will benefit the rich. So, and therefore, I suppose you could say that that is probably something that could be seen as a selfish thing. But then so many people say they support freedom, and I don't plan on getting rich myself like I used to, but I don't really plan on getting rich. I plan to fundraise for things that I support. So I'm not, as I often mention, I'm not that materialistic, so I wouldn't really class it as a selfish thing. And even like Celtic, people might say is a selfish thing, because like if Celtic win, I would enjoy it as a fan, but I would enjoy a lot as a fan, but as many trophies as Celtic can win. But because Celtic is, as I put it, born of poverty and oppression, if you look at the history, they came from Ireland. I was going to say the island. Then they came from Ireland to escape poverty, oppression, and things like that, a famine and stuff like that. So I suppose they are what many would call, here in the UK at least, and America, I suppose, the underdogs. So I don't see that as a selfish thing either. So the only one I see as selfish is the Italian football thing, which you could say is not really a charity. But I mean, Celtic was founded as a charity. Libertarianism is not really a charity, I would say. But I think it would be good to make people have as many freedoms and decisions as they want to have. I talked before on my YouTube about what I would do if I was fully free, as I see it. And number 4, supporting former colonies, and also peace projects and stuff like that. I'd love for there to be a Christmas truce, for instance, where all nations around the world agree to have at least one day of truce, like on Christmas Day, which obviously is only a couple of days away. But if I'm really dreaming, most of these are probably pipe dreams if I'm honest to myself. But I think it'd be pretty cool if there was like one day where there was like peace, maybe every year, preferably starting from this year. Probably a bit of an irony in me using my Starbucks mug, as many people say they were supporting Israel. They've denied it, but I know they've lost a lot of money because of that. But on that note, I think they should invest in Italian football and Celtic instead. But anyway, I talked about that before. Number five, tackling poverty, alleviating suffering, and spreading peace, love, joy, hope, and happiness, and that kind of thing. Supporting the 10% poorest people in all possible countries, which reminds me of a biblical teaching. As I often say, I'm not that religious, but it does remind me of and I suppose there are parts of religion which I don't like. Like I don't like the excessive rules, laws, things like that. I don't like weddings, marriages. I don't like having to worship. I don't like having to call Jesus Lord or things like that, and that kind of thing. Again, excessive rules, excessive laws, and things like that. Especially on people's personal lives or sexuality or stuff like that. But there are things about religion that I do like peace, tolerance. Well, no, tolerance, question mark that one, but peace, talking about love, joy, hope, and things like that, and also like helping others. Again, like people who believe Christmas is actually a Christian celebration. Some people have a debate over this, as I say, but I'd love to know what you think, as ever. But on that as well, they would say like Christmas is about peace, love, and stuff like that. So again, it'd be great to have a truce. But I'd say helping the poor, tackling poverty, spreading peace, love, joy, hope, happiness, and that kind of thing, having sympathy and empathy for others, which is what these videos are about. And I suppose, yeah, those five are my five causes which I talk about, which is what I hope to dedicate my life to, my life's work, and causes like what I'd like to be my main part of my legacy, if you like, without wanting to sound too narcissistic. I'd like to think, as I say, most of them are like noble or positive causes. Only the Italian football one, I think, is selfish, in my opinion, because even libertarianism, as I say, if you say like it will favour the rich, I don't plan on getting rich, so it wouldn't actually. It's actually trying to give people the freedom that I would want to have myself, treating other people as I wish to be treated. But yeah, those are my five causes. Number six, again, I was saying a selfish one. I know I mentioned it quite a lot, but Italian football, Serie A, and that kind of thing, supporting them, fundraising for them, and that kind of thing. I think when I thought of the list, I forgot that I was going to include that in point number one. But also, I think I meant to say supporting what I call the six, which are indigenous people from Africa, Australasia, the Americas, like Native Americans, Asia, and also Ireland, because they were colonized, and also, I suppose, Latin America to throw in there, like trying to help them to network together. I'd love to make a network of what I call the six. So indigenous people, Anthracal, I would class as POC, people of colour, from those backgrounds, generally speaking, or even, let's say, Ireland, because it was colonised, even though they're not POC, even though they're white, just for the fact they were colonised, could network together and support each other, encourage each other, like trade together. So I suppose you could say, to put it simply, as I often say, developing nations, emerging market economies, and so-called former colonies, which I suppose often, again, I know I often say this, but goes hand in glove. Number seven, any group that's disadvantaged, like the school I support in Kenya, the Rare Gem School, as part of the DOK, Dyslexia Organisation of Kenya. So as I say, I was thinking of like so many different ideas, like talking about 40 groups I would love to support, and then ways in which I would love to support them. And I would love for Italian football and Celtic, for instance, to provide kits, football pitches, and things like that for Rare Gem and schools like that. And I hope to help Rare Gem as much as I can, and also the Dyslexia Organisation of Kenya. And with momentum, whatever I do for them, hopefully I can do for schools across Africa and Asia for those with learning disabilities. So I hope people will be inspired to check out the Rare Gem School of Kenya, and also the DOK, Dyslexia Organisation of Kenya. With the DOK, I hope to support them in terms of like helping people with dyslexia in Kenya and other parts of Africa, I suppose, and Asia with and Ireland, I suppose, as well, to reach their full potential, help them to set up their own businesses or to work on careers they want to do, or things like that. Just basically fundraise more for adults with dyslexia, whereas Rare Gem would be more children and for their future. So they hopefully they can learn things like STEM and things about business and things they're going to hopefully use to benefit themselves in the future, but also have fun at the same time, like have like football pitches, indoor and outdoor facilities, and also ICT suites and a place where they can learn about STEM and things like that. Hopefully people can go and mentor them, teach and train them and things like that, and just fundraise for them as much as possible. Number 8, on that note, I was thinking like my fellow dyslexics and also people of colour, especially people from the Black diaspora, perhaps could go to visit the Rare Gem School, and see what they could do to mentor them and teach them and train them. I suppose mentorship includes teaching and training. Got 2 very noisy cats in the background, by the way, as you can probably tell. Well, they are noisy today, they're a bit hyper. But yeah, I would love to encourage people like Richard Branson and the Virgin Enterprise Group, the business he runs, and other dyslexic billionaires or even mere millionaires. People like Jamie Oliver, Orlando Bloom, Steven Spielberg, Steve McQueen, and so many others who are dyslexic, especially as Steve McQueen is black as well, so like of an African descent, I suppose. And he's already done stuff to mentor aspiring filmmakers with dyslexia. So it'd be great if people like that, and even Spielberg, who's dyslexic as well, and so many other successful people with dyslexia, like Paul Orfella, who's a Lebanese American with dyslexia and ADHD, and has his own foundation, the Orfella Foundation. I hope I dream that they will support the Rare Gem School and others like them across Africa and Asia. I think that'd be pretty cool if they helped fundraise for like ICT suites, things like that. So if I could find out how much PCs or laptops cost, because I was given mine, so I gotta admit I don't. I've had quite a few hand-me-downs, so I've been lucky in that way. But it'd be great to find out how much one would cost, so I could buy as many as possible for school or help to fundraise for that kind of thing. Number 9, if you have any charities you can think of that you think are worth supporting, wherever they are, maybe in the world, where you think they actually make a genuine difference, I'd love to read any of those and hear from people about what charities are worth supporting at Christmas time and any time really and beyond. I hope people will check out the Celtic FC website and like the Celtic Foundation and the work they do overseas and in Scotland itself, in Glasgow especially, and that kind of thing, like how they help the homeless and that kind of thing. And number 10, once again, like the 10% poorest people in all possible countries, and young people, disabled people, and other such disadvantaged people. And once again, if you can think of any worthy causes that you think are worthy, please post them in the comments so we can see how we can support them together. I might not do it very well, but I do try my best. But anyway, hopefully my best will be good enough one day, but I am out. Peace and love.